Well, hello everyone. We got a very special Let's Play for you here today, because I have my buddy Top joining me for this very special game. Top, why don't you tell us a bit about what we got going on here?
Howdy, strangers. Your top 10 Super Nintendo game list sucks because it does not include Assault Suits Valken. Developed and published by Masaya in 1992, later localized and published internationally by Konami under the title Cybernator. No relation to some shitty sci-fi movie that all the funsters like to point and laugh at.
Yeah, I was just looking that up. It looks like a full moon type thing, but I think it was actually made by Scimitar Entertainment.
Oh,
But
darn well, you've seen that movie before.
I have to have. But let's not talk about that. Let's talk about the game we got here. So, Cybernator, or Assault Suits Valken. So what do we got here? What kind of game is this? What do we got going on?
Uh, well, maybe you played games like this before. Maybe you played Metal Warriors, which was made by LucasArts. Maybe you played the Front Mission spin-off Gun Hazard. This game kind of set a standard for a unique side-scrolling action subgenre. Think maybe Contra with weight.
Actually, that's a pretty good way to describe it, because what viewers may not realize here is I'm not playing the game. Technically, Top is playing the game, but what he's done is he's recorded, I guess, his gameplay inputs, and then go ahead, explain.
I sent a replay with an emulator just to, I don't know, I guess to save you the trouble of practicing, and because you were like playing a whole month of just giant robot stuff, and I guess I just want to save you the trouble.
Well, I appreciate it. I'm glad to have you involved in more of these things.
And
So I did play this. I played the other
Yeah.
one. What is it? Leynos.
You played a remake of the first game of the franchise, which was Assault Suits Leynos, which was Target Earth on the Sega Genesis.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so
But this is like my favorite Super Nintendo game. I played Cybernator as a kid, and
well, I was enjoying it from what I was playing, but I do get the feeling it's one of those games you got to invest a decent amount of time into if you want to get good at it.
well, I always like to say if I can do it, anyone can.
All right, so I'm sure our viewers are very astute, and they can clearly see that all of this is in Japanese. Is there a reason we're playing the Japanese version over the US or Western version?
Well, the localized version of Cybernator, it had some features removed. There was a little censorship involved because this was pre-ESRB and all of that.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure someone out there is thinking, well, doesn't there exist an English patch of this game by Aeon Genesis? To which I say, yeah, and it's absolute garbage. Anyone who's actually played through the game with that patch applied would know it's actually full of it's full of visual bugs that you can actually physically collide with that can actually potentially soft lock you. And I've even had instances where the game would just freeze up in a black screen.
So perhaps this isn't one of the better ones to link to the translations for.
Now, if you do want to play this game in English, there is actually an official release on the Switch called Assault Suits Valken Declassified, which is the fully uncensored translated version of this game, complete with supplemental material. So I would recommend that.
So the game is actually playing right now. This is all your gameplay except you recorded it. So tell us a little bit about the game's controls, what buttons you're using, that sort of thing.
Well, of course I'm explaining how good the shield is right there, because it doesn't guard the front of you as much as it just makes your entire sprite invincible. That's what was showing me guarding with my ass there. But I kind of explained, kind of like Contra with weight. You can aim in 8 directions. You walk very slowly, but you also have like a boost function, which is kind of a throwback to Armor Trooper Voltoms.
Yeah, I think we just saw you doing it right there.
The The aesthetic of this game is very heavily influenced by the futuristic war dramas, like Mobile Suit Gundam,
Hmm.
Armored Trooper, Peltoms, maybe Macross.
Well,
And
I
yeah,
can kind of see what you mean by Voltoms, and Gundam I think is like a good go-to for anybody.
and you start off with two weapons. You know, so I'm currently in the process of collecting power-ups to upgrade the Vulcan, which is and the other starting weapon is the Punch there, which is really good at punching through that thing's shield. It's a lot of people sleep on that. It's actually very satisfying to use in this game. Um,
Also looks like you kind of hover or fly a little bit.
yeah, you have a little vernier that you can that helps you boost your jump very shortly.
Now, not every stage is going to play like this. We have some stages where we're actually like flying in zero gravity.
Yeah, we'll be seeing that soon. I think I'm making an effort to like cover as much of the stage as possible because you can actually there's actually like multiple paths for most of the game. But I'm trying to collect all the power-ups that you can find because I want to get that gun at level 3 as soon as I possibly can.
Hmm. Well, I always think that's a good idea, is to try to show off as much of the game as possible in the hopes of maybe giving people the broadest idea of the game to help them make a decision whether or not they want to play. Alright, so this is our first boss, right? What's going on here?
It's the I believe this is like the core to powering up a cannon that could shoot up your capital ship, the Versus, but it looks like I killed it pretty quickly. It's possible to just get a game over screen if you let that reach to the ceiling.
Alright, so now we're going on to mission 2. And I guess this is sort of like a overview of the stage layout, correct?
Yes. So there's some gameplay variety in this. We're about to see the like a vertical shmup type. No, vertical. No, I meant horizontal. Hey, Wes, what are your directions? Anyway,
So it's auto-scrolling right now. You're not, like, pressing forward and going forward.
yeah,
You're
yeah,
just sort of like moving around in 3D.
yeah, it's an auto scroller, a horizontal shoot 'em up segment.
Now, I understand there's a secret or a trick to this area.
Actually, there was in the. I was gonna explain later, but but yeah, if you complete the first mission without killing any enemies, you get an unlockable hidden weapon called the Napalm, and by you can do that, and by doing the same in this stage, you unlock the ability to upgrade it. But of course, in this, it's a lot harder because you must not like destroy anything, and that includes running into asteroids or setting off the mines. So it's a little tricky.
That sounds pretty challenging.
But yeah, now that we have the booster removed, we're now navigating through zero gravity. Probably the first time you play this, you'll probably be like swinging your gun up and down a lot, but by holding the L button, you can hold the direction and angle of where you're firing. Which makes the game a lot easier when you learn about that.
And that's another reason I was comparing it to Contra, was you do something similar in Contra. You can aim in the what is it, the 8 cardinal directions, and if you hold down the L button, you'll lock into that direction, regardless of how you're moving.
Uh-huh. And
So,
of course, I'm trying not to miss any power-ups here, and we found ourselves a new weapon here, the missiles. It sucks. Don't use it.
I was about to ask you about new weapons too, so I guess that's a good time.
Yeah, it doesn't pack the punch, considering considering how slow it fires and also that it runs on finite ammunition. So just ignore it.
So how high can you power up a weapon?
The maximum level is 3.
All right, so right now your Vulcan is level 2, correct?
Yeah, and the colored number, like when it goes down to 0, it goes to the next level.
Oh, okay.
So
like it's a countdown instead of a count up.
correct.
So is it possible to power up all your weapons to level 3?
I don't think so. And also, and if you collect a power up for a weapon that you already powered up at max, then you'll just increase your score. And also you also collect score if you collect a health power up when your health is at least 90% or above. So playing this game for score is a lot of fun. Hope you're sensing any sarcasm there.
There you go, pro gamer tip. Collect health power-ups with full health to increase your score. So we got our second boss coming up.
You know, I'm picking up a big energy reading here. And but before I pay attention to it, I want to shoot down like one of these asteroids because at least one of them has another power up. There you go.
So what are we fighting here? What does this boss have a name?
He just calls it a mobile weapon, or mobile artillery as it was called in Cybernator.
Well, this boss does one of those things that I like, where you kind of like slowly pick it apart.
Yeah, that's another thing that a lot of people like to point out is the environmental damage you can do in this game. Like you can shoot the walls and the terrain, and you can add and you add like little bullet damage to it.
Yeah, I noticed that in the first level. I hope some of the viewers noticed that too. Like when you were shooting down at things, like the floor would break apart. It wouldn't collapse or anything, but you'd like see holes and divots and stuff in it. So this is another zero gravity stage from what I remember, and I think because I was just being obstinate and trying not to use a shield, I made this stage harder for me than it needed to be.
Well, also you could have just been floating around a lot, and you can only really use your shield when you're standing. But yeah, this is when the game starts to get really satisfying. Look at the explosion here.
Is that a Mode 7 explosion?
Oh, there is 0. At least I don't think there's any Mode 7 in this, unless I count the intro. This is a pretty early Super Famicom title.
You said 92, so yeah.
But yeah, still looks really good.
Well, you and we both love sprite work, and I wouldn't say it's underappreciated or anything like that. I think the people who love it actually really do love it, and wonderful things can be done with it.
So yeah, I'm trying to level up the punch now because I feel like most people who play this game kind of ignores that one.
Well, when I was playing it, I was playing this game almost like it was a beat 'em up, running up to everything and punching them.
Yeah, the punch in this game is really satisfying. Again, kind of a throwback to Volatoms when you notice when like even when the punch is thrown out, like a little shell casing comes out.
I'm gonna keep my eyes open, see if I see that happen.
And since we're in zero gravity, now the casings are like flying straight up instead of falling.
Oh, that's a neat little addition. Like, I don't think I would have noticed that if you didn't point it out.
Oh, I love this game. I noticed. I've noticed way too much about this. Yeah, this is like no doubt my favorite game on the platform.
Well, anybody who's watched me for any period of time or has spent time with me knows that the Super Nintendo is one of my all-time favorite systems. Like, I think gaming's two golden ages were like the Super Nintendo generation and the PS2 generation. And I would probably say that those were the two systems of those generations that were probably the strongest in terms of what the systems delivered.
Of course, I'm like desperately trying to like pick up power-ups before they go away, while also trying not to get hit too many times. But yeah, shield to your heart's content. It never breaks, and it makes your entire sprite invincible. So don't be shy to use it.
Yeah, like you had mentioned earlier, like even if the shield is in front of your sprite, but even if you get shot from behind, as long as you have the shield up, you take no damage, period.
Yeah, it's a little too good. Alright,
So I guess the first part of Stage 3 is done?
yeah, we're about to go to what I guess was the Cybernator cover artist's favorite part of the game.
Oh, we should talk about that because
Yeah.
there's a lot of
Yeah,
good
we're-
artwork in this game. There's got a lot of good artwork for the game, like our borders here to the left and right.
And we're shooting armed infantrymen here. So yeah, they were pelleting at us with small arms fire. So I guess that made them fair game. So to all the homicidal maniacs who are upset that you can't shoot the people after they eject from their machines, well, here you go. and
So what we got here, this isn't really a boss. What would you say, more like a mid-boss or something like that?
yeah, it was like that zero gravity machine from Strider.
Strider's a good game too. We should do like a ninja month and play a bunch of Strider games.
Oh, Ninja November, even though we're celebrating Mecha March in April. Oh no. So yeah, now we got some floating mines here. And I'm making an effort to not fall off these platforms because if I do, I can't climb back up, and then I'll miss out on some power-ups.
Yeah, I didn't even notice the platform in the middle.
Of course, I'm bait. I want to bait out the mines before I got any closer to that.
So would you say there's like a lot of secret areas in this game?
I don't know if I'd call them secrets or Easter eggs. We're about to see definitely optional moments.
Mm-hmm.
One we're about to see soon, but of course this
Ouch.
isn't like your standard just go left to right kind of affair. We've noticed we've been going the opposite direction here, but no, you have an option to go to the right over here to see some optional dialogue.
Oh, I didn't even notice that. You have a map you can pull up?
Yeah, and I think I was showing the punch frame, which was just like the shield frame with a fist coming out. Shut up! Don't worry about it. This game's perfect.
No, it's fine. So why are you glowing right now?
Oh, that's just showing how powered up your punch is. You let it charge up. And man, imagine how devastating that would be to an infantryman. But so yeah, we have some little scientists freaking out here, and then we have this guy here announcing that he's about to drop the base into the earth. So, yeah, we're about to have
Another colony drop.
Oh,
Goodbye, Australia.
and here's another alternate path here. Now, you could be a chicken and go straight to the right, or you can be cool and go through these missile shafts, which again is recommended if you want to get more items.
Well, you have to do the cool thing. Girls might be watching.
Oh yeah, plenty of girls just come swarming here.
Chicks dig giant robots.
And of course this missile won't come out until I go straight into the danger zone and bait it out.
Well, just like the mines.
Oh.
So I guess you would call this kind of like a secret area. You wouldn't think to go this way.
Well, again, you have optional paths. And in this case, it's the cooler path or the safer one.
So more risk, more reward.
Something like that. Of course, haven't punched enough mines in this stage.
All right, so we keep seeing the portraits down there. Who are our characters? Like, who's that woman that just was popping up, giving us, I don't know, directions?
Oh, that's our mission operator. Her name is either Claire or Kriya, I guess depending on who's translating the game at the time. And we're playing as Jake Brain, an assault suit pilot.
Jake Brain, that's a heck of a name.
Yeah, but you know, after Amuro Ray or Kiriko Kuvi, that sounds pretty normal. But yeah, he's an assault suit pilot serving under the Pacific States Marine Corps, and they are fighting an opposing nation over the dwindling fossil fuels left on the Earth.
Alright, so this is the guy we saw earlier. So this is what, boss number 4?
No, the third boss.
Alright.
And he's of course he's like, of course he's saying, hey, dropping a base is no big deal. You know, it's not, it's not like we're dropping a nuke. And the goal here is to actually like stop the boosters on the base from pushing the base down into the Earth. Killing this guy is entirely optional, but I decided to do it anyway because he was being annoying.
That what do they call their giant robots in this universe? Assault suits?
Yeah, they're called assault suits.
So the assault suit he was just riding in looked very familiar. Was that one of the enemies from Leynos?
I think it was. I think you may have remembered the big ones from the remake when you were playing that.
Okay.
Yeah. And this is one of those missions that you can actually fail. You can actually fail this, and the game will still push forward.
So how would it be different if you failed? Like, what would happen? Because they're going to see the victory here.
Well, I believe there are 2 of these. There are 2 of these where you can actually fail, and the game will still push forward. And failing either or both will lead to an alternate bad ending.
So the map here gives me the impression we're heading back to Earth.
Yeah, we're having an atmosphere drop. Again, very, very Mobile Suit Gundam inspired. Of course, not like Zeta Gundam with Camille's Mark II on that stupid boogie board.
Now, did you tell me there's a trick here where, like, you want to kill a certain number of enemies?
No, but this is definitely an opportunity to collect any power-ups that if you haven't picked up any already. So your punch is level 3. Yeah, and 2 full charges is enough to kill one of these guys. The red guy, as you may imagine, he's special. We can't mess with him yet. So when you get those power chips, what, you're just getting score right now? If your weapon is fully leveled up, yes. All right. So is there any reason you would rather get the score as opposed to powering up a different weapon? Not at all. Flexing. Flexing. So you don't get like extra lives or extra continues for getting a high score? And it looks like and it looks like someone's Balhute did not deploy, so oh, he's gonna have a bad time. And I guess this would be a good time to say that for the American and European versions, there was a lot of dialogue that was just removed. A lot of dialogue was omitted. you may have also noticed if you played Cybernator the lack of character portraits.
Yeah,
I don't think that
you told me
I
about
don't think
that. That you think they just removed all the portraits just for censorship's sake.
uh my theory is there is because there was a couple of portraits that had some bloodshed on it, and mind you, this game, I think it came out before the ESRB, and I guess instead of just specifically taking out those two specific portraits, they decided to just, I don't know, just lazily pull them all out entirely.
Well, if
Other
anybody knows,
others like
feel free to let us know in the comments if you got any thoughts about that.
Now others like to say they were, I guess, others like to say, I guess, that the portraits were too anime for Westerners to comprehend, but considering both the opening and endings are still intact, I find that argument to be a little silly.
Yeah, that's a rough one to call, because a lot of times, a lot of times they'll just leave stuff in or take them out altogether, but on rare occasions they'll completely overhaul sprites.
But as we just saw one example of that, one of our buddy Herman, he was just killed by the Red Comet here. And he thanked us for saving his buddy, but and he thanked us by killing our buddy, and now he's gonna take him back.
But now you can fight him for real?
Well, until he realizes that 2 fully charged punches is too much for him to handle, and he runs away like a little baby.
Alright, so what we got here? Mission 5? Looks like, what, we're trying to stop a rocket?
Yeah, this one has another boss that I think you can fail, but the game will still push forward. We're gonna start with another flight segment.
Alright, so yeah, it does do a good job of mixing things up, so there is some variety in the gameplay.
And Jake here, he's still a little bummed out about his squad mate being dead. And as you can see here, I really want to get as much mileage as I can out of the punch.
Well, it looks like it takes everything down with just one hit.
It's really fun to use in this game. But yeah, getting as much mileage as I can until we get a new weapon that's pretty much going to carry us through the rest of the game.
Now, you mentioned that the napalm is a secret weapon that you have to do like shenanigans to unlock. How many weapons are there in total in the game?
The Vulcan punch, the napalm missile, and then there's one more that we're about to get. So,
5 altogether?
Basically, I'm really taking my time here because I just want to savor just punching all these tanks and aircrafts down.
Well, you kind of want to use the most effective weapon you got anyways.
It's not that I would say that this is the best one, I just think it's the most fun. And here it is, new weapon. I don't think I showed it just yet. The little green lines there, that's kind of a hint that that you shouldn't fall down there.
So no more new weapons. How far along are we in the game? We at about the halfway point?
About the halfway, I'd say. It's not a long game. And yeah, and here's the new weapon, the laser. Right now it's pretty puny, but by the time we get it to level 2, there's really no reason to use any other weapon in the game.
So I'm thinking about Contra again, and like I'm not a big fan of the laser in Contra, for example, but I do like the flamethrower in Contra, and we've talked about this. Flamethrowers tend to be either the worst weapons in a game or one of the best.
Or absolutely busted.
Yes.
And in this case, some people would argue that napalm is kind of a cheat weapon. I personally disagree. Once you get the laser, it kind of makes napalm obsolete because it has a pretty slow recharge rate, and you can't fire as actively. But yeah, it packs a pretty mean punch.
Well, now that the laser's powered up, holy cow.
Yeah. There's no reason to go back to the Vulcan. And yeah, as you see, it just instantly recharges back.
That's something we probably should have talked about a little earlier, is like our heads-up display there. Like the score is fairly obvious, and and the red bar there in the middle is our health. But to the far right, we have our weapon bars.
Yeah, all these weapons they either run out and reload, or you wait for them to recharge. Or in the case of missiles, it's just finite ammunition, and once it's empty for the rest of the mission. Further proof why it's just not really worth your time.
Just everything is stacked against the missiles.
Alright, so we have another sub-boss here. I don't remember how fast I took this out. I guess I'll stick my time with them. Sometimes you can kill him instantly, even with level 2 laser.
I'm kind of surprised the laser doesn't knock away his missiles.
Oh no, I can't. No, I can't miss. I can't miss one. I can't let let one fly past me.
No, not even one. No enemies escape your wrath.
No witnesses.
They killed your buddy. They all have to pay.
Yeah, you get some beginning dialogue in the game's opening where your main character explains how he's just a soldier and he doesn't care about politics or morals. But you find out pretty early in the game that he starts to rethink that. Like after he helped an enemy, like through the atmosphere and witnessing his friend get murdered.
So initially it's like nothing personal, kid. And then later he like develops a conscience after seeing all the horrors of war.
And it's another wars bag.
I mean, war is pretty bad. I wish more people would realize that.
But yeah, like I said, very like future space opera inspired. This the developers of this game, before they made Leynos, they were pretty much thinking, why can't we just make our own Gundam side-scrolling action game? And so that's when they started with Assault Suit Leynos for the Sega Mega Drive.
With blackjack and hookers.
Yeah, of course. There we go. That is one fat laser.
Alright, this is another one of those bosses I like, where you slowly pick them apart.
Yeah, and of course you have a limited time before this thing flies up into orbit.
But this is not one of the ones you could lose and keep playing, correct?
No, the game will keep going if you fail this one.
Alright.
We're gonna take a skiing trip now.
I was gonna say, this looks like a very straightforward mission.
it's another auto scroller, except we're not flying this time.
We're snowboarding.
So
Yeah, not really snowboarding.
and the way to so these things lob like bouncing grenades at you, and depending on where it launches this from, depends on how high it bounces. So if it's just launching while it's on the ground, you just jump over it. But then if it launches from like in the sky, it may bounce higher, so you can just dash under it.
Well, this is a neat sort of approach to the auto scroller. Instead of being a flying segment, it's a skiing segment.
And here they are pulling a fast one by having enemies shoot at me from behind the foreground.
So what are those, like big spotlights?
This game can be pretty rude at times. I don't think it's a difficult game, but it can be rude. But yeah, this laser's holding up pretty well, you know. So it'll serve me well for the rest of the game. Except so here in this cave, the laser and the punch are disabled.
Even the punch is disabled.
Yeah, and I think it has to do with the punch and the laser having a similar graphical effect as this flashlight here. Now, in lore reason, I guess we could just guess that the punch and the laser are solar powered, but
you told me in the remake, the laser and the punch is available.
Well, no, there is no remake of this game. There's a fan-made remake called Gun Valken.
Is the punch and laser available in that?
Yeah. Sadly, that game is still not finished, but it's
How about in the Wii port, declassified?
Oh, no, you mean Switch? No, well, no, that's just the SNES game emulated.
So I thought this was going to be a very straightforward stage. Apparently not. Are there any little hidden areas or goodies we want to be aware of in here?
Well, there are two paths that you can explore this mine in. I'm going to choose the lower path because there's more stuff you can pick up, and
more goodies is a good reason.
but of course my bloodlust is just never quenched. So I just can't stop exploring the whole stage to just shoot everyone down.
No more robot skulls for the robot skull throne.
But yeah, these little bastards, they're pretty tough. They're pretty tough in this. So now we're going down here, and those are really big rabbits.
Yeah, if you compare those to like the little sprites for the people, they're like the same size. Can you imagine how terrifying a rabbit would be if, it stood up on its hind legs and it was like 5 to 6 feet tall?
Aren't there like a breed of Japanese rabbits that are like that big?
There are some big rabbits, but I don't know if any get that quite large.
Like they're, I don't know, they're like the size of a dog.
Yeah, there's some big suckers. Is that what those things are based off of? Those little robots you're taking out? Are they inspired by the rabbits because they're jumping around like them?
Yeah. I guess they just came down this mine and saw those rabbits, and they were like, I think I have an idea. And here's me forgetting how to jump.
That's a problem.
So yeah, we're getting chased by Evil Knievel in an Earth Mover. He finally returned to his old career in construction, and it ended the same way. You ever heard that story? You ever heard when Evil Knievel tried to do a wheelie in an Earth Mover?
I think you told me about that. Yeah, how'd that end up?
He cut a power line and blacked out the entire town.
Great job.
So if you were to play that amazing Aeon Genesis patch and you were to go up in this area, you may notice some graphical glitches here that you physically collide with, and you can't jump through it. So if you happen to climb up there, you're stuck. Start over.
Good job. Like, I really do love the fan translation community. There are so many interesting games that we've missed out on for, whatever reason. So
I mean,
these people willing to take the time to make these games more playable for those of us who speak different languages, I always appreciate. But sometimes things like that happen.
Yeah, like I guess if you already played this game and you just wanted to know if you just wanted to read the dialogue for supplemental reasons, then I guess it's fine. But yeah, like the patch broke the game, unfortunately. But like I said, there's now a way to play this game officially in English, and it's not busted. So if you have a Switch, go get it. It's a great game. This was of course, we had to shoot down those anti-air guns before we had to focus on this guy. Otherwise, they would shoot down the Versus, and it would be a game over.
Yeah, that guy was way too easy to be a boss. But I guess it was. Or is that just because your laser is that powerful?
It's pretty tough.
Oh, looks like we're getting close to the end. So we kind of like storming the capital here?
Yeah, we are on enemy territory. We are in undescribed European nation.
Europakistans.
Now, I would imagine the first time playing this, you might struggle here because there are no health pickups throughout this.
Yeah, that can make it a little challenging.
But yeah, but as long as you know that the shield is stupid and you just casually mow the lawn with your laser, you'll do just fine.
Laser precision mowing.
But yeah, even the infantrymen, they're even like bringing in their best, shooting at you with machine guns and mortar launchers. So I would just like, if there's no shame in just taking your time and just aiming at a downward angle while you just, of course, occasionally shoot up for an airborne enemy.
Well, yeah, most of the enemies seem to be a little lower to the ground here. Do you think that makes it tougher or easier that the enemies are smaller?
It's not that bad, because again, your level 3 laser kind of already covers a lot of the screen. And again, just how active it is, it's just constantly melting through anything it touches. But managed to make it through this part without a scratch. But of course they try to pull a fast one on you. They have enemies sneak up at you from behind.
Is that a constant thing through this level?
Nah, it's just here, I think. Of course, we're getting dialogue with our operator here, saying that the Versus is getting shot at.
Yeah, it looked like it was in bad shape when the stage started.
Oh, it's had a long day.
Any idea the time frame that all this is taking place in?
In the not too distant future. Yeah, no, I have no idea. Now, canonically in the franchise, this takes place actually before Assault Suit Leynos.
Okay.
So there is that. So we're now getting, now Jake is saying, well, I'm not getting a response from her. And
Well, now it's time to storm Parliament.
so we have the President of Europe, the President of entirely of Europe, but we have our friend here. We have our friend Shar Assnibble. He's saying, no, you're not. So if you're sweating on health pickups, you might want to shoot down those gun funnels. And after that, this is straightforward.
And down he goes.
And then we go down there, and we can see our nemesis running away. His name is Aleph Beldark, by the way. And we are about to see a scene that was too hot for Cybernator.
I thought that was really neat, the way your suit just burst through all the different floors.
Yeah. So we are now confronting the brains of the opposition.
The president of all Europe.
Yeah. So we're telling them, all right, time to pull up your flag. Take responsibility for all the wrong you have done. And of course, this guy, being a sore loser, he did the bullet point equivalent of pulling the plug in an online game.
He removed himself from the census. He won't be in the sequel.
So yeah, the developers actually pushed really hard just to have that scene happen, even in Japan. So yeah, you can imagine that it just wasn't gonna fly at all under Nintendo of America.
Yeah, 92. That sounds about the time like Mortal Kombat would start getting big. Street Fighter was big at this point. Alright, is this our last auto-scrolling stage?
I believe so. But again, as long as you have a laser, you'll be fine. Just shoot all the walls in the way. Or run your face into them like I do, assuming you have enough health on you.
Alright, so the walls won't stop you. They just sort of like do big damage if you hit them?
More like minor damage. And look, it's the kid we saved. Good thing we have morals and let the enemy live until it turns out that he's still our enemy and does not want us to win. Fortunately, this guy is not very bright. As long as you keep jumping up, he will keep shooting straight up, not knowing that the ceiling is directly above his head.
That's a neat trick to avoid taking damage.
And yeah, that was dialogue removed from Cybernator, so you didn't know that this was if you played Cybernator, you wouldn't know that this was the kid you rescued from the atmosphere drop.
Yeah, so much for a bounty of mercy.
And so at this point, the war's pretty much over. But this guy just ain't having it.
No, he wants to keep going. Just get into a bigger and bigger robot each time.
So the final boss of this game consists of multiple parts you need to shoot down.
So what's that? What are you, like, taking out the knee cannon?
Or I was gonna say something a little more childish, but I'll try to behave myself this time, I swear.
Yeah, I don't want to look up more Joe and Mac noises. You want to play Joe and Mac?
Never. No, it's not a ninja game. And then finally, the final part is the head opening, but don't let that laser hit you. Even if you have a lot of health on you, that is going to tear you to shreds in seconds. So don't worry about other things hitting you. Just wait for it to open, point, aim, and shoot.
Well, I saw you take out the knee. It looks like you took out something on the chest. So the only part left is the head?
Yes, and of course that arm was optional. But it starts off punching you, but once you damage it, it starts shooting little bullets at you.
Alright, so there's nothing else to do with the arm at this point.
No, all that's left is the face. And I underestimated the power of the laser because I really wanted to end it with a punch, but I was not going to record this again.
Alright, so this is it. This is our climatic... this is our conclusion. Our triumphant music as we escape the explosion. Our suit looks really messed up.
Just kick the top open.
What was it? It's Jack and Clara?
Jake.
Jake.
Jake and Claire are Korea.
They survived, they're reunited, they can go off and be a family.
And if you failed any of those optional bosses, they wouldn't have this. They wouldn't have a nice embrace here.
Now, what would be the ending screen here?
Well, instead, everyone in the versus got shot down, including her, and you basically get text saying, "Hey, do it again, buddy."
Oh, it's one of those. All right. So I guess that's it. The game is over. I really enjoyed watching you play this. This isn't the first time I've seen you go through it. I've told you like how much I like watching the robots stomp around.
I enjoy playing it hundreds and hundreds of times.
Well, you and me are alike in that way. There are these games that we can go back to and just play over and over and always get, enjoyment out of.
This is definitely a comfort game for me. If I just have some time to spare, I just casually play through it. And considering how much of a short temper I have with other stuff I do, this is very therapeutic for me.
So, as we mentioned earlier, this is a Super Nintendo game. There was a Switch port.
Yes.
People who are interested in this, what other ways can they get out to play this? Is it just Super Nintendo and Switch?
No other ways. None whatsoever.
And I didn't know this. I didn't know it was a prequel to Assault Suits Leynos. So Leynos, I think would be fair to say, is a similar game and a similar style. So if you like this, you might like that.
Yeah, it's just keep in mind it was the first of its kind, and it's also really, really difficult. There is a remake of that game for the PlayStation 4 and Steam. It's a lot easier.
And let's see, any other games sort of in a similar vein to this that you think people might appreciate or might want to try?
Well, I think I brought them up before, but the developers of this game would later work under Square to make a side-scrolling action RPG spin-off of the Front Mission games called Gun Hazard.
Mm-hmm.
Plays very similar in this game, along with RPG elements. Very late in the Super Famicom life cycle, it's also one of the best-looking games on the system.
All right. Now you gotta correct me where I might be wrong here. Jake and his assault suit showed up as like a guest character in another game.
Oh, wow! I'm surprised. I'm surprised you remember that. Yeah, um, there's a like it's like a shoot 'em up fighting game hybrid called Senko No Rounder 2, and it features Jake and the Valken as a guest DLC character.
So yeah, if you guys like this character and you like this mech design, that might be worth checking out.
Yeah, he really sticks out from all the weird, pointy, more modern anime takes on mecha designs. And there's also Temjin from Virtual On.
Well, I've always been more of a fan of the less busy designed robots.
Yeah, the Valken, it's just like it's just a stack of like steel boxes. It's a walking stack of steel crates, and that's what they try to pass it off as. They try to pass it off as a walking tank. It's just a milsurp piece of equipment that just gets the job done. And like that's why that and things like Zaku's always appeal to me more than the super prototype Gundam.
Hmm. Yeah, I brought that up in a couple of videos that I've always kind of appreciated the Zaku designs, especially like the early ones. Like the mobile suits better than I do. So I think it was like what Zaku 1 that was less bulky and it only had a couple of spikes.
Yeah, you like the old Warhorse, and so we're showing our score results here. And
War
if
is
you were
over.
cool, if you were cool and didn't lose and continue, those scores would be the same. But if you continued, it would be And we're gonna get one more. We're gonna get one more bit at the end. You're gonna.
Yeah, can you tell us what happens here at the end?
Well, we gotta wait for it. It kind of takes a while to get there.
Well, that's okay. We'll just let it happen. Because this is sort of like the Ocelot calling the Patriots part of the game.
Yeah, something similar to that. And once again, if you played the Aeon Genesis English patch, that's just missing.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Now,
they just took it. They just took it out. I don't,
is this
and of
end
course it wasn't.
screen like here it is right here.
So, what this is it's hinting to the events of Assault Suit Leynos.
Oh, that's right, because
Yeah.
this is the prequel to that game.
Yes.
All right, well, there you go. Movie end. So, first, Top, thank you so much for joining me today. I had a good time watching you play through this game, and it's always fun to hang out with you.
It's always fun to annoy your viewers.
With that said, also thank you to everybody who's watching. I hope you enjoyed as well, and we'll look forward to seeing you all in the next game. Take
Don't eat
care.
too much garlic bread.